So this is our job board. Basically every morning you come in here, you look at this as soon as you come through the door. Today's Tuesday, you gotta find your name, what truck you're gonna be in, where everybody else is going. This on the side is all of our trucks. So if you're gonna be in a truck, you're gonna have it underneath your name. These are the trailer numbers. Over here is all of our field employees, so if you're not up on the board, you're over here. This is for upcoming deliveries over the weekend. This kind of lets us know how many people we need to bring on for Saturday deliveries. This is if you're sick or at action. Supply yard, this is basically Devin Dewey's little section, what we need him to work on. This is the equipment, all of that. Pieces of equipment, so if you need to assign a piece of equipment to a guy, just pull it off of here. But this is the board, this will tell you exactly what you need. And then if you're under somebody, so Rob's going to be in charge and Devin Dewey's going to be with him. So the senior guy is going to be on top. So if you are Devin Dewey and you need to know exactly details, you need to go find Rob. He's going to be the guy that tells you what's going on. So that is the job board. So this is our broken equipment area. Here has a list of the broken equipment. Basically the procedure we want you to follow. Tag the equipment. Tags here, zip ties there. Supply your own pen. Provide as much information when you're filling those out. Put the equipment in this area. So if it's in here, we know it's broken. We'll look at it, figure that out. Also, you need to go over to the whiteboard, and we'll show you that next. And put all the information over there as well. And then you need to notify either me or Devin Dewey of the broken equipment so that we can get it fixed. So we're going to grab a sheet. This is the broken equipment sheet. Date, equipment number, mileage or hours if it applies, who your crew leader is, and explain defect. Repair done is what we are going to write in there. By whom, parts used, all that stuff. So we're going to fill this out. Today's date is April 2nd. And the equipment number is this blower here, which is HB3. And not applicable for hours. Crew leader, me. Explain defect, won't start. If we have any more information to other won't start, it's pretty vague, so I'm also going to write seems like no fuel. This will give them a rough idea where they should start when they do the repair. This is going to get zip tied to the piece of equipment, like so. And then the piece of equipment is going to be set underneath, like so it doesn't get damaged by somebody running it over. And then we will fix it. So this is a whiteboard that we are going to write down broken equipment on so that Devin and I can see it when we come in first thing in the morning. So we're going to take and write HB. HB3 is not running. No fuel. And then I'm going to write my initials so that they know who filled this out. And they'll come in the morning, they'll look at this, and we'll say, okay, we're going to go look at that and figure out what the issue is, no fuel. And I know I can call whoever's initial it is and ask them what's going on if there's more information I need. So we're going to talk about the out-of-service tags for the vehicles or equipment. They are kept on top of my toolbox. These are the ones that most of you guys will be using. It's a roll of them, so you pull it out, give it a tear. Here's your out-of-service tag. It has a hole in it. Pop the hole. You can either zip tie it to the piece of equipment or use a string or something, but somehow this needs to be attached to the piece of equipment. It says right on it, danger, do not operate. On this tag, you need to put your name what division or department, and then expected completion. You guys can fill that out if you know when it's going to be fixed. Most likely you won't know, so you can leave that blank. And then on the back, the remarks, just write what the issue is. So in the situation that we have, truck 10 has no brakes, so we would write my name or whoever's filling it out, but in this situation, I'm going to write Jordan. I'm going to write Hardscape Division. I don't know when it's going to be fixed, so I'm going to leave that blank. And on the back, I'm going to write no brakes, will not stop. We're going to take this tag, and we're going to take it out to that vehicle. The other tags that I found in this case are a same tag, same information, little harder strength-wise. So if it's going to rain, we would use these if the piece of equipment's going to be outside, or we use these on our keyboard. So I wrote number 10 on it. You put your name on it. Same thing as the other one. You would take this tag to the board. The keys, if you hung them up, you don't want to leave them there. You're going to take those and you're going to put the tag in that spot instead. So when people come to go grab that truck, they see this do not operate tag and they know that truck's out of service. The keys will be given to either John or me, and they will be hidden so that no one accidentally takes the keys. Then we'll go out to the truck and talk about that. So this is the do not operate tag. This is the vehicle. We can take this tag and we want to place it somewhere where somebody's going to see it. We can either jam it in the steering wheel like so. We could take a zip tie and zip tie it to the steering wheel. But we want to make sure that this vehicle's tagged along with the keyboard so that nobody operates this truck because it has no brakes. This has the same information, has my name, the division, no brakes, needs to be towed. So that's that. So if you guys see this tag, make sure you do not use this vehicle because it's unsafe. So we're going to talk about ratchet straps today. There's multiple size and styles of ratchet straps. This is like a 1-inch ratchet strap used for light cargo stuff in the back of the truck. These are your larger 2-inch ratchet straps. These are a flat hook style. And then this would be what they call a J hook style. They all work the same, but some of them are made for different things, different strengths. These are stronger than your little ones. These would be used for the dump trucks and hauling stuff on trailers. These would be more for making sure a mower doesn't roll around, a push mower in the back of a truck, light style equipment. When we use straps, we need to make sure that they're not cut or chafed anywhere, because that will hinder the use of the strap. On a 2-inch strap, according to DOT, the biggest cut you can have is 1/4 of an inch. So if it's cut through 1/4 of an inch, it's still good, but any more than that, it needs to be thrown away or reused for something else. This is the proper way to take care of a 2-inch strap. You roll from the end to the hook. This is the wrong way to take care of a 2-inch strap. Most people would say, well, it's rolled up, what do you care? Well, if I need to use this, I need to hook this onto the side of the truck, and now it's going to be all tangled up. Look how twisted it is. What a pain that is. Versus this, we can hook this on the side of the truck, and now we can simply roll it, and it's nice and flat, ready for use. So that's the proper way to take care of a strap. Simply roll from the center. A lot of them have indication lines on them. The red dots indicate that should be on the outside. There's no red dot. So you want to make sure that's on the outside as you roll them so the hook is facing the right way for use. So once you have the strap hooked to the truck, you need to take the end and you need to run it through the ratchet binder mechanism. So if you click this so that the slot is facing straight out, it's easier to run through. So you're going to take the end of the strap and you're going to feed it through the slot on the binder. You're going to come all the way through, and then you need to go back out over the top. So it's facing that way. Now you need to pull all your slack through. Once you get all the slack out, then you need to hook this. These J-style hooks, we can only hook underneath. We cannot run it up through because it won't fit. So this style, we hook on the side. We pull it tight by hand, and then we start ratcheting. You hear it clicking. That mechanism is tightening the strap. Once you get it tight, you go as tight as you can, and then you want to take your slack, and you either want to tie it up in a nice tie so that it doesn't blow down the back of the truck while you're driving, or you can throw it across and tie it on the other side to get rid of the slack over there. Sometimes we use these straps, one strap, two binders. So if we were going to do that, we'd go back down through the side. Like so, and then we'd throw this over and we'd put another binder on the other end so that if we were hauling a pallet, we could have 2 points of fastening versus just the one. That utilizes one strap, but you have 2 different points. So now that we're all done that, now we need to release the ratchet. We need to undo our strap. So the way to do that is there's this middle black handle that releases the ratchet mechanism so that you can move the hand freely. You're going to hold out on that and push it all the way forward so it's straight. That now has a ratchet in the neutral position, and you can release the strap. Now that we're all done, we can take care of the ratchet. Some people roll up the strap and ratchet like this. As we talked about earlier, that is the improper way to do, because it's a pain to use the next time. Now you need to unravel it, find the hook, throw it across. So we want to completely dismember and take apart the strap from the binder mechanism. That way, sometimes we need 2 binders, 1 ratchet. That way, if they're all tied up all together, we have to bring 2 straps, 2 binders when we only really need 1 strap. So like I said, the red label indicator lets you know that that should be facing out as you roll it. And you just need to start and roll it up. These are 20 feet long, so it takes a minute. We have a tool for that I'll show later, how to do it a little bit quicker. So this is the 1-inch strap, very similar to the 2-inch strap. Just weight-wise and strength, it's a lot less than a 2-inch. So these are rolled up slightly different. I think the reason for that is so that they're all together. You can do it either way. You can roll them all up like they just were, completely in one bundle. That way, if you grab this, you know you have the ratchet and the thing and the strap all in one grab. Or you can roll it just like you did the 2-inch strap. These do not have an indicator on them. It's camo. It doesn't matter which way you roll it because it has a flat J-hook style. So it doesn't matter which way you roll it, as long as you roll it. You'll find these straps in trucks either rolled or wrapped up all as one, but they're the same idea. You have the black thing that releases the ratchet mechanism so that you can put them in the neutral position. They crank just like the 2-inch. That's it. So this is a tool that we've made. We have 2 of these in the hardscape trailers. These are made for rolling up the straps. We use a lot of straps, so we want to make it more efficient. This is made to slide in the pocket of a trailer or in the side of the truck. It has a hand crank that turns a fork. So we set that in the side. We take the strap. We throw that out of our way so it's in a nice straight line. We grab the strap, red indicator line out, hook it onto the fork, make sure it's not wrinkled, and we roll it up. This is a lot quicker than doing it by hand. Once you get it all rolled, you slide it off the fork, like so, and it's ready to go.
Hey guys, JC with Lynch Landscaping here again. I'm just going to show you what to do in case of an oil spill. Sometimes you make a mess over the concrete floor, whether you're doing an oil change or fixing something. So I'll just kind of mock up a little spill here. So always with a spill, it's important to take care of it. And how we take care of it is you need to find some of this, it's almost kitty litter, but it's speedy dry. You'll find it near Jordan's workbench. There's a big barrel of it. After you spill, you want to cover it. You don't need too much. A little bit's okay, but just make sure it's covered. After you spill, you want to make sure it's absorbed, but it's important to sweep it up in case of any animals. You don't want anybody to get into it. And again, if you still see some oil residue, it's okay to put a little bit more on there. Helps keep the workplace tidy, helps keep everybody safe. Hey guys, JC at Lynch Landscaping here again. Just want to show you our process to make two-stroke fuel and the reason we use it. Most of our small engines, whether it be a weed whacker or a backpack blower, take mixed fuel, and what that is normal gasoline mixed with high-performance engine oil for two-stroke specifically. Our system here is we have a 100-gallon tank. This full jug makes 50 gallons, so we'll use 2 full jugs and fill this tank to the brim, cycle that through, Charlie. That way it's properly mixed. Our processes have changed. We used to use small canisters and mix per can, but it seemed like the ratio was off depending on who was mixing it, so this keeps things pretty consistent, and we've noticed a big difference in the quality of our small engines and how they run. So very simple. You take your nozzle here, you'll want to unscrew your can, whatever one you're going to fill. This lever right here turns the pump on, and you'll want to fill your can. You don't want to overfill it, just hang that back up. Unlike this tank where we log our fuel, whether it be mileage, what equipment we're logging, we'll just do a separate log off of this to fill this can here, and it's usually or almost always 100 gallons. When you're done, make sure this is properly snug. And when you fill a piece of equipment, it's important for this piece of equipment to be on the ground on a flat surface. I've already unscrewed this cap. Pretty simple. You just want to unscrew it. If it's not level, you won't get a true reading. So I want to make sure that this is at the most level spot. These cans make it easy. Nothing comes out unless you push this green button here. So you want to go slow and try your best not to overfill it. Whenever you're filling a piece of equipment, it's very important to do it on a hard surface, mostly pavement. If you fill on grass or any sort of soft material, it could kill, this gasoline could kill whatever you're filling it on. So even if you spill a little bit, like I did here, if this were grass, that grass right there would die. So whenever you're filling something, please let it be either on your trailer or on a piece of pavement. Hey guys, JC with Lynch Landscaping here again. I want to show you a piece of equipment that you use a lot out in the field. Use it a lot in the spring, use it a lot in the summer, and you use it a lot in the fall. So I want to make sure you feel comfortable with this piece of machinery here. First off, it's pretty heavy, so when you put it on, make sure that these straps are properly fastened. Just want to show you the parts of the machine. This is your ignition coil. It's pull start. This is your choke. In order to start it, you want this in the upright position. The choke is on, feeding fuel to the carburetor. This is the primer bulb, which puts fuel into the carburetor to help it on an easy start. Here's your air filter. These should be cleaned a couple times a year, certainly after spring cleanups with all the dust and silt. So make sure every now and then you check that for proper maintenance. This mechanism right here is your throttle control. This position right here is in the on, ready to start. This is how you shut the machine off. You go in this downward motion, and if you go up, it locks your throttle. So when you're using it for long periods of time, you might want to lock the throttle. In order for it to start, it needs to be in this position here. So to start the machine, you cannot have it on your back to start it. It needs to be on the ground. Keep one hand on the top somewhere. I've already choked it. I've already primed it. About a minute. Ready to jump up. If it doesn't idle, it might need some more maintenance. You might have something to do with that air filter right there. After you start it, you want to put it on your back. But again, like I said, it's important to have this nice and snug and up on your shoulder. If it's down here, it's uncomfortable and it can hurt your back. So have it up, tighten the straps, and away you go. So once you have your backpack, whether you are just getting done using it or you're taking it off your trailer, I'd like to show you our racks that we've made. They're pretty neat. We've made them go on all the trailers. They fit all these steel backpacks pretty nicely. Why they're important is a lot of times if guys will throw them in the back bed of a truck, they may roll around, and there's some pieces on here that you don't want to break. These keep them safe and out of the way, and also in an upright position, not clogging the carburetor. So to show you how these work, this mechanism, you'll want to slide up, get it out of your way. Some of them stay, some of them don't. Backpack blower should fit right in there. You want to make sure that your straps are out of the way, or else it won't be a tight fit. One thing to look for are these fins are keeping that in line. If they're out like this blower could actually fall out on the road. So make sure that they're seated in there. This rack, you'll want to slide up, slide down. You don't want them to be loose. When you slide this down, you want to make sure you're sliding it down as far as you can. This red lock keeps that fastened so this cannot go anywhere. And real quick, if I mess with that, it shouldn't move. This hose you don't want to leave like this because mowers will be coming off and on. You want to take this and wrap this around and fasten it there. And again, this ensures that this is going to be safe during travel. These are very expensive machines, so it's also important that we take care of them. When you take it off, really the same process, just inverted. You want to take this out first. Get your red lock free. Slide this up, out of the way. Take this off and put it on, and you're ready to go. Hey guys, JC with Lynch Landscaping here. I want to show you our weed whacker string trimmer racks that we have attached all on these trailers. A lot like the blowers, a lot of companies will just throw these in the back of the truck. They'll kind of get rolling around. They could break pieces, and or if they're staying in an upside down position, they could flood the engine. So how these work, there's racks. This one has 3 spots. You could actually fit 3 trimmers. There's a locking mechanism here, so I just want to take it off and show you. You take this lock out, move this in the way. Always get in the habit of put your lock back in there, that way you don't lose your pin. You'll want to take this out, and you're ready to use it. In order to put it back in, same process, just inverted. You want to put the front side in first. Take your pin back out to get it out of your way. Slide this over there. Put it back in. And these keep them safe during travel. That way you don't lose an expensive piece of equipment on your trip to the job.
So today we're going to talk about the tarp systems on the install trucks. 5 of our trucks have this tarp system. It's a little different than the old setups. They have aluminum rods. It's all automated, electric. So these arms, when you're putting brush and stuff in, you need to make sure nothing overhangs because these will hit them. The controls for this is inside the cab. They're all located roughly in the same location. They're clearly labeled. Unwind tarp, wind tarp, self-explanatory. So to unwind the tarp, you stand and you hold it. You need to watch it. Make sure it doesn't catch on anything up overhead, limbs, trees. You go down until it stops, and then you give it a little extra. You need to verify once the tarp's down that nothing's hanging out of the back, everything's secure. And then you're ready to go down the road. When you get back, same procedure basically. You want to make sure nothing gets caught as you're trying to wind it up. But you suck it in, everything comes up automatically. You hold this until it hits the headboard, and you stop. That's it. So some of our dump trucks have automatic tailgates. This is one of them. It clearly says do not touch, so don't come over and try to open it manually because you'll break something. So to use the automatic system, you take the chain off, come over here to the controller, and you hold the open button, and this opens the tailgate. It is not fast, but it's strong. So if you can watch, you can see the handle going down, and that is automatically opening the tailgate for us. Same thing, to close it, you hold up on the button into the closed position, and it's locking the tailgate. You need to make sure nothing's stuck in the tailgate, no debris. Once it's all the way up, and you're going to be driving quite a ways down the road on the highway, you want to make sure you lock this. Short distances, you don't need to, you can leave this down. But if you get on the highway, you need to make sure you lock it. Alright, so we're going to talk about where we keep all our safety stuff in the install trucks. All of our trucks are pretty similar, but install trucks are slightly different. We keep hearing protection in the driver's door. Sometimes the guys keep it down here. I like to keep mine up here, but every truck should always have hearing protection. So that's where that is. Fire extinguishers, generally located in all the same spots, but mounted on the hump of the trucks in between the two seats. Some of the other trucks are behind the driver's seat. This one, all the install trucks are tried to be located there. The first aid kit's on the other side. So all install trucks, we keep the first aid kits under the passenger seat. Pull the seat ahead. That's where the first aid kits, all our first aid kits are exactly the same. Band-aids, gauze, Neosporin, the basic stuff. Put it back when you're done. Let your project manager know if you used a bunch of stuff and you're starting to get low, and we will refill it. So the last thing on our install trucks are safety triangles. They're all located on the passenger side under body toolbox, usually located way in the back. So if you break down on the side of the road and you don't have cones with you, you grab these reflective triangles, spin them sideways, they open. The new ones are slightly harder, but you put it together like so, and you put one 10 feet, 100 feet, and 200 feet behind your truck if you broke down on the side of the road.
Good morning, my name is Rob DeFlaminis. I'm one of the project managers here with Lynch Landscaping, specifically with the Property Care Division. And today we're going to go over the Gravely 60-inch Z-turn mower. So if you're sitting on the mower on your right side, I'll take a seat as if I was mowing. Bring these control arms down. First, we have this red button that engages and disengages the blades that are underneath the mower. We have our key start here. We have our throttle starting all the way down at turtle and all the way up to rabbit. And that simply controls the RPMs at which the motor's spinning. That doesn't control how, whether you're going forward or back. These arms here are what controls that. So I'll bring that throttle back down. And for the cold mornings, like this time of year, we have a choke. So this opens and closes the choke here, which will help you turn the mower over, like I said, on the cold mornings. The goal today is to go over the Gravely 60-inch Z-turn mower. And if you look down here, I've already popped the seat up. We have our battery, which sits below its terminals. If you follow it over here, we have our emergency e-brake, which is super important on hills. We have a gas gauge, and right behind that gas gauge is one of two of our fuel tanks. So we have a fuel tank on the left side. We also have a fuel tank on the right side, which is super helpful when you have a long day of mowing and you need to switch over tanks to provide more fuel for the motor. If you look down here, you have options for right tank and left tank, and that's simply just turning that dial. I'm going to secure the seat. We could take a walk around to the rear of the mower. This is our Kawasaki motor. We have our air filter that we want to make sure is tight, and it is on there nice and secure. We have two hydraulic reservoirs here, and those are specifically for the control arms to steer the mower. They don't take a lot of hydraulic fluid, but it's important to make sure that they are topped off. Our next step is backing up the truck and trailer. As you can see today, I'm riding solo, so I'm gonna jump out of the truck here, secure this door. I'm gonna take a quick walk to the back of the trailer, and what I'm looking for is anything that's obstructing the truck and trailer. When I say obstructing, I'm talking about cars, people, animals, anything that's behind this trailer. And as I mentioned before, I'm riding solo today. If you do have a passenger, a teammate riding with you, it never hurts to ask that teammate to jump out of the truck, stand here on the driver's side, and direct you back. It's a big help, especially if you're unfamiliar with a property or just need assistance. We're a team here at Lynch, and all it takes is one person to come out, direct you back, and have that oversight. Our next piece of equipment is the power head. If you look down here, we have our spark plug, our choke, our primer, our pull cord, and our fuel reservoir. As I make my way down here, we have a safety, a throttle, and a stop. What's great about the power heads is that each component and attachment down here is able to be switched out. So if I wanted to put a string trimmer head on this unit, I would simply use this steel tool, plug in here, turn to the left, and I can remove the power broom and place a string trimmer head right on the unit.